Have you ever tried explaining something simple to someone and felt like you were talking to a wall? Or watched someone make the same mistake over and over while blaming everyone else? You're not alone. And according to ancient Stoic wisdom, you just encountered what the philosophers called voluntary ignorance. The Stoics didn't use the word stupid as an insult. They used it as a diagnosis, a description of someone who refuses to grow, refuses to listen, and refuses to take responsibility. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's greatest Stoic emperors, wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." In this video, we're breaking down 8 clear signs that you're dealing with someone whose ignorance isn't accidental, it's a choice. And more importantly, we'll show you how to handle these people without losing your peace, your energy, or your sanity. Because the Stoics knew something powerful. You can't fix stupid, but you can protect yourself from it. Stay till the end, because the 8th sign might surprise you. The first sign of a truly foolish person is their complete inability to admit fault, ever. About anything, they'll twist facts, change the subject, or attack you personally before they ever say, "I was wrong." Epictetus said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." If someone believes they're always right, they've locked the door to growth from the inside. The Stoics called this false certainty. It's not confidence, it's fragility disguised as strength. You've probably seen this in action. Someone gets caught in a lie, and instead of owning it, they create 3 more lies to cover it up. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If anyone can refute me, show me. I'm making a mistake I'll gladly change. It's the truth I'm after, and the truth never harmed anyone." So when you're dealing with someone who can never admit fault, don't waste your energy trying to break through. The Stoics would tell you, you can't reason someone out of a position they didn't reason themselves into. Save your breath. Protect your peace, because people who refuse to admit they're wrong don't just stay stuck. They drag everyone around them down to. The second sign, they love the sound of their own voice. But the moment you speak, they're already planning what to say next. They don't listen to understand, they listen to respond. Or worse, they don't listen at all. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." They interrupt constantly. They finish your sentences. They redirect every conversation back to themselves. This isn't just annoying, it's a clear sign of a shallow mind. Because listening requires humility. It requires you to pause your own thoughts and genuinely consider someone else's perspective. People who don't listen aren't just rude. They're scared that if they stop talking, they'll be exposed as having nothing valuable to say. The Stoic, on the other hand, is comfortable with silence. He listens deeply, observes, and when he speaks, his words carry weight because they come from reflection, not reaction. So when you're dealing with someone who won't stop talking, stop trying to compete for airtime. Let them talk. Watch how quickly they reveal themselves. Don't mirror their behavior. Stay calm, stay quiet, and let your silence speak louder than their noise. The third sign, nothing is ever their fault. Ever. If they fail, it's because someone sabotaged them. If they're late, traffic was bad. There's always an excuse, always a villain, always someone else to blame. Epictetus said, "Some things are within our control, and some things are not." But the foolish reverse it. They believe everything is out of their control, and nothing is their responsibility. This is the victim mentality. When you blame everyone else, you give away all your power. You become a passenger in your own life. Marcus Aurelius understood. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. But the foolish person never realizes this. They spend their entire life pointing fingers while their potential rots. Blaming others feels good in the moment. It protects your ego. But that temporary relief comes at a massive cost. You never grow. So when you encounter someone who refuses to take responsibility, don't try to save them. You can't force someone to own their life. All you can do is protect your own energy from their blame spiral. Because the moment you accept responsibility for your choices is the moment you reclaim your power. The fool blames. The Stoic builds. The fourth sign. They're controlled by their emotions. Every inconvenience is a catastrophe. Every disagreement is a war. They can't regulate their feelings, so their feelings regulate them. The Stoics weren't emotionless robots, they were emotional masters. They felt anger, fear, and frustration just like everyone else. But they didn't let those emotions control their actions. The foolish person lets every external event dictate their internal state. Someone cuts them off in traffic. They rage for an hour. A minor setback happens. They collapse into despair. This is exhausting to be around because emotional volatility infects everyone nearby. Epictetus said emotions are like a dog tied to a moving cart. The dog can either run alongside smoothly or resist and get dragged. Either way, the cart is moving. The wise person runs alongside. The foolish person gets dragged, kicking and screaming the whole way. So when you're dealing with someone who's emotionally unstable, don't match their energy. Stay calm, stay grounded. Let them storm while you stand still. Because the person who controls their emotions controls the situation. Your peace is your power. Don't give it away to someone who can't manage theirs. The fifth sign. They make the same mistakes over and over again. Same bad relationships. Same financial disasters. Same self-destructive habits. And somehow, they're always surprised when it doesn't work out. Seneca wrote, "To err is human. To persist in error is diabolical. Everyone makes mistakes. But refusing to learn from them? That's a choice." The foolish person lives in a loop. They never pause to reflect. They never ask, "What role did I play in this?" The Stoics were obsessed with reflection. Marcus Aurelius kept a journal not to document his success, but to correct his thinking. That's how wisdom is built, through honest self-examination. But the foolish person avoids this. Because reflection forces you to confront uncomfortable truths about yourself. Life is a teacher, but it only teaches those who pay attention. So when you see someone making the same mistakes repeatedly, stop trying to save them. You can't learn someone else's lessons for them. Focus on your own growth. Because the Stoic doesn't waste time fixing the unteachable, he perfects himself. The sixth sign. They act superior despite having nothing to back it up. They talk down to others, mock people who are learning, and strut around like they've mastered life when in reality, they've barely started. This is what the Stoics called false confidence. It's insecurity wearing a mask. Real competence is humble. The more you actually know about something, the more you realize how much you don't know. Marcus Aurelius, who literally ruled an empire, wrote, "Be humble in your opinions, for you may be wrong." This is a man with absolute power, reminding himself to stay grounded. The foolish person has no real skills, no proven track record, but they act like they're untouchable. They dismiss constructive criticism as jealousy. They confuse confidence with competence, and arrogance is contagious. If you spend time around arrogant people, you start doubting yourself. So when you encounter someone who's arrogant without accomplishment, don't engage. Don't waste energy proving they're wrong. The Stoics believed that time reveals truth. Arrogance without skill eventually collapses under its own weight. Let reality be their teacher. Focus on building real competence. Confidence whispers, arrogance shouts. The seventh sign: every conversation becomes a debate. Every disagreement becomes a battle. They don't discuss, they dominate. They don't seek truth, they seek victory. The Stoics called this verbal violence. It's the need to crush someone else's perspective just to feel powerful. People who need to win every argument are scared. Scared that being wrong means being weak. So they fight tooth and nail over things that don't even matter. They twist your words. They get louder and louder until you just give up. And then they think they won. Epictetus said, "If someone criticizes you, agree with them immediately. It disarms them completely." The Stoic doesn't need to defend his ego. But the foolish person's entire identity is built on being right. So when you challenge them, you're challenging their self-worth. So when you encounter someone like this, disengage. You don't need to prove you're right. Let them win the argument and lose your respect. Because the Stoics knew something powerful: silence is stronger than victory. The wise person seeks understanding, not dominance. The eighth and final sign: they actively resist growth. They're the same person they were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe even 20 years ago. Same habits, same complaints, same limited thinking. When you suggest they try something new, they shut down. "That's just who I am," they say. But the Stoics would call this spiritual death. Because if you're not growing, you're dying. There's no neutral. Seneca wrote, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." Life is a continuous process of becoming. But the foolish person believes they're finished. Marcus Aurelius, even as emperor, constantly worked on himself. He read philosophy daily. He questioned his decisions. He never stopped refining who he was. Growth is uncomfortable. It requires you to admit you're not perfect. And most people would rather stay stuck than do that. Work. So when you encounter someone who refuses to grow, stop trying to drag them forward. You can't force someone to evolve. The Stoics believe that the only person you can truly change is yourself. So focus there. Grow relentlessly. Learn constantly. Because the foolish stay the same and wonder why life never gets better. So there you have it. 8 signs you're dealing with a stupid person, according to Stoic philosophy. Not stupid in intelligence, but stupid in character. People who refuse to learn, refuse to grow, and refuse to take responsibility. The Stoics didn't waste time trying to fix these people. They protected their peace and focused on their own path. Marcus Aurelius said it best: "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. You can't control how others behave, but you can control how you respond. Stay calm, stay wise, and never let someone else's ignorance disturb your inner peace." If this video helped you see things more clearly, hit that like button and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom that actually works in real life. And remember, the fool argues with the world. The Stoic masters himself. Stay strong, stay Stoic.